Hello YouTubers, today we have 2009 Toyota Sienna all-wheel drive, and we will be replacing rear diff pinion seal. As you can see, it's all wet in here and just soaked with oil. So to get started, we got the wheels off the ground. Luckily we have installed the trailer hitch not that far ago. So the car is sitting on the stand, on the jack stands. So right now, if we spin up the wheel, we can spin the drive shaft. So to start with, I have marked the U-joint and the pinion. Sorry for my video quality. I just broke a screen on my new phone, so I'm using the old one. So you want to mark it and to put it back together in the same position, since usually the drive shaft is balanced, and it's better just to stay how it was put together at the factory. So let's take those 4 bolts off. They are 14 mil socket head. So let's get those off and separate the shaft and the pinion. Right, so I have removed 2 bolts, and actually that's bolt nut couple. So nuts on this side and bolt head to this. And forgot to mention that in order to rotate the shaft, you need to have the vehicle in neutral, or front end lifted too. So right now we have removed 2, we will get removed the other 2. Alright, so the U-joint is removed now, and there is a nut, pinion nut. It's actually 24 mil. This fits really nice. So right now the idea is that when we remove the pinion, replace the seal and put it back together, we would like to get the nut in the same position as it is right now. So I'm not sure if you can see if the light is too bright, but there is like a channel, and the nut is punched inside so it does not get loose, and there is some paint on the nut and on the channel. So basically that's the position that we want to get it back when we get to assembling the pinion. If you want, you can make another mark, or if you don't have a mark, make sure that you know exactly where the nut should be. Okay, let's get that nut off. Alrighty, so nut is removed. I was trying to get the pinion off just by gently tapping from the back. It's not moving, so I don't want to bend it, so I will install the puller and we'll use the puller to get it off. Alright, so here's the puller on a pinion, so I will crank it and get it off. So with the puller, it's moving quite well. You can already see the gap already here. So what I would like to do now, since there is a big chance that as soon as we remove the pinion, there will be small or bigger dump of oil from the diff, and we will be changing oil anyway. So I would go ahead and on the right hand side on the diff, just beside the axle, closer to the front, there is fill plug. So remove that fill plug, make sure that you can remove it, and then drain the fluid out of the drain plug just on the bottom of the diff. Why we need to remove the fill plug first? Just to make sure that we can remove it and we can fill the diff up at the end, because if we cannot remove the fill plug, we probably shouldn't touch the drain plug at all. So at this point, it's 6 point Allen key. I will tell you the size in 1 second. So this is 10mm hex or Allen key, and you can see the fill plug, it got loose. So now we should be good to remove the drain plug and drain the fluid. Ready, so here are 2 plugs. This is fill plug. Just make sure that you don't lose the washer on it. And this is drain plug. So what you looking for here, like the end of this plug has a magnet, so it collects all the shavings, and you looking for any bigger pieces. This is just basically very fine particles, what is normal 460,000 K vehicle. So what we will do, we will make sure that they are nice and clean, and when we put them together, make sure that you have washers on both of them. Alright, let's get back to the pinion seal. Yoke is out. Even though the fluid was drained, there was still a little bit of fluid coming after I removed the pinion, I should say. So what you're looking here, so you want to make sure that this shiny surface doesn't have any deep grooves, any corrosion, because if it does, it will ruin the seal quite fast. So we will get all this washed and cleaned, and at the same time we may check the seal. It's SKF in our case, part number 14758, and we will just make sure that it fits, and it does. So the seal seems to be right. So we'll get this washed, we will get the diff washed, and we will remove the seal, the old seal, and install the new one. So one more thing, when you pop out the seal, you'll get another dump of fluid, so make sure that you can capture it. So to remove the seal, simply just use the pry bar, just go this way, hook, and it's out. Here's the old part number for the seal, that's MT038A3, and I already checked the sizing, it's same size as the new one. To get the new one in, we're using 2-inch socket, so this just fits perfectly inside the socket. So now we can gently hammer it in. So let's get under the vehicle. So our diff is nice and clean all the way around the seal, and now we basically take our seal together with the socket, align it, make sure that it goes evenly on all the sides, whoops, and hammer it in until the socket hits the edge of the diff. So the seal is in, nice and flush all the way around. So now we can prepare the pinion, get it cleaned, put some oil on it, and get it installed. Quick pick on our pinion, all nice and clean. So what we'll do now, we'll just use some Diff oil, and that's 80W90 GL5. Make sure that it's exactly GL5, not GL4 or anything else. So now we just want to put a tiny bit of oil on the surface that will be touching the seal. And before you do that, you need to remove this seal on a bottle. So now I will just put just a little bit of oil all the way around. You don't want to put too much so it's not leaking when you install the seal from there. Also just tiny bit inside so it's not dry. Alright, so now we should be ready to get the pinion in and get that nut tight. So remove any excessive oil, just so it doesn't look like it leaks just right after you install it. By hammering all the way around, I was able to get it basically almost to the point where it's supposed to be. So now we can use our nut, and we remember that we want to align the nut with that groove, with that channel that it used to be before. And the nut has a mark on it from previous install. So basically talking about that mark over there, it also has some white paint. So we will get this and we will get it as tight as it needs to be to align with that channel. Okay, so our yoke is installed, our marks on the nut and on the shaft are aligned. We use the punch to lock the nut in place. So now what we do, we find the mark that we did on pinion, and the same on the U-joint. For the bolts that attaches the U-joint to the pinion, we will use some blue Loctite. We'll get this tight and we'll fill the diff. Fill the diff, I will just use this type of syringe, super cheap. It's roughly 10 or 15 bucks at Princess Auto, Canadian Tire. So we'll get this filled with ATW90 GL5 and we'll push it into the diff until we can see some fluid coming out of the fill inlet port, or where the fill plug is. So everything is done, the diff is full of fluid now, and it actually took entire bottle of this fluid, what is 946 milliliters. Almost nothing was left, just a few droplets in that syringe, but in general it takes entire bottle to get the diff filled. So hopefully this video is helpful to someone and you enjoyed it. Do it yourself, guys. Take care.